There's always something. On a good path, training well, eating well, on target to hit your goals, and then boom. For me, after 2.5 years, I finally caught COVID.
Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast. My name is Coach Scott. I'll be your host today. We didn't do a podcast last week, and look, I got a decent excuse. COVID hit the house, and it hit it with reckless abandon, I would say. Look, we got back from Minnesota. I did the last podcast. I know that there's no video out from the last podcast. I'm working on that. We've had some major technical issues with my editing software. I think I finally figured it out. It's only taken 2 weeks. I know. I will try to get that podcast out. It's important because it's about my clients doing their race, and so I want to have that out there. So hopefully that one will get out, and then we'll also get this one out in the next day or two. Hopefully, I think it will. I'm optimistic. Things are good. Things are getting better. Anyway, we got back. Well, I flew back into town. Getting back home from Minnesota on Monday, August 1st, and my daughter was in a new day camp for that week. So she had gone to camp on Monday, camp on Tuesday, camp on Wednesday, and then Wednesday night, just after our Wednesday night challenge Zwift ride, our club Team Ordinary Zwift ride, she woke up from bed and just threw up all over the place. I wasn't sure she had COVID. I figured she maybe had a bug. So you do what dads do, right? You do what parents do. And I sat there and I held her, put her back to sleep. She woke up again in the middle of the night and threw up again. And, you just do what you can as a parent to kind of keep your kid comfortable. My inner thinking with this was, she's 3 years old. COVID seems to not hit younger people as hard. And so her throwing up, and supposedly there was a stomach bug. I had heard there was a stomach bug going around the daycares and the camps and all that stuff. And unfortunately, no, it was COVID. We took her to the doctor on Thursday, tested positive for COVID, and I kind of knew I was done for at that point. I tested positive on Friday, with a little scratchy throat. I did get tired. I got cold and clammy, sweaty, a little minor fever, but not really anything big. I was on medication pretty quickly, just Tylenol, just to keep a fever down. And, for me, my daughter had 1 or 2 bad days, and then she was starting to clear up. I had it for probably 2 to 3 days where I had some pretty strong symptoms, but honestly, look, I've had the flu way, way worse before, so I was never really kind of laid out and couldn't move around, couldn't do anything. I could always kind of get around and make food as needed and do things that were needed, keep my daughter a little bit entertained. My wife, Stephanie, she was in New York, so we just told her to stay in New York. We said, don't come back, we didn't want her to get this thing. So it was me and my mother-in-law here trapped in the house. She got it too with my 3-year-old, trying to keep her entertained as she all of a sudden had tons of energy coming out of COVID, and we were not feeling well at all. Although, again, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. It's just, trying to keep up with a 3-year-old. And when we're stuck inside for a number of days, it was a little bit crazy. But the symptoms are gone. I've tested negative. I've been clear for a few days. I'm still dealing with something. The symptoms are gone, meaning the big ones, right? The big ones. I am still experiencing a little bit of a cough. If I get through this next podcast without some kind of hacking cough, it'll be a miracle. I do have some congestion in my nose. And now, obviously, what I wanted to do today was I wanted to talk about sort of how this is relating to training and how I'm approaching COVID and whether or not that's the right thing. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, so you can listen to me all you want or don't. I'm just going to give you my approach and the way we've handled things here. Now, the first thing I kind of wanted to talk about was weight loss. I have struggled with weight loss for years, and you guys that have been here with the podcast for years, my weight goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. In January, I ticked another high of 260 pounds. I haven't been that high in a long, long time. And really, it was a bit of a wake-up call. And I've been slowly losing weight. It hasn't been like I stopped eating or anything like that. Just trying to be mindful of what I'm eating compared to the exercise and keep it all sort of calorie neutral, the calories burned, trying to average more calories burned than I use, and trying to keep that number on the the lower side. It tends to work for me, as long as I'm a little bit scientific about it and kind of pay attention when I need to pay attention. The scale goes down, and so it has been. It has been. So, I would say this though. In July I plateaued. I went from 260 in January, got down to about 222, 223 around there. And July was a month where I was just kind of up and down within a 5-pound range of 222 to maybe 5 or 6. 228 was the high. We had some things that happened. All right, we had some things that happened. Number one, Ironman Muscle Man was early in the month, and typically with those races, I go out. I get to what I believe is my ideal race weight, and then I just kind of I leave for the race. I put the scale away. I try to fuel my body for race day. Those extra couple pounds are not worth not being fueled. So I try to fuel properly, hydrate well, and go after the race. And even though you go out there on race day and you might burn 3,000-4,000 calories, whatever it is, getting out there for 7 hours and working hard, then you come out and we go to dinner and you sort of put the blinders away when it comes to diet, right? You just want to enjoy yourself, celebrate the victory. And I'm not one to deny myself that simply because I want to continue to lose weight. Now I do want to continue to lose weight, but it's time to celebrate after a race. And so we did, and we had a nice dinner, had a few drinks, hung out with friends, and had a nice breakfast the next day before going off. And I get home after these big races, and typically the combination of eating before, eating after, and I believe that there's some sort of inflammation component to it as well. When I get home, I'll typically gain about 5 pounds, and that's what happened this time. I went from about 222 to 228. I'm kind of estimating there. I don't have the exact numbers, but then you're kind of starting at 228, and that was early in the month. Then we went out to Lake Placid, which wasn't like, I did get some workouts in, did pretty well there, but we're out eating. We're out trying to enjoy our vacation. I did try to keep an eye on the things that I ordered, but, plus or minus, I got home. I was probably weight neutral. Weight neutral. I probably had just come off of losing those pounds that I had gained from Muscle Man. Got back from Placid, and I was probably about weight neutral. Then we went to Minnesota. Same thing. Got a lot of workouts in. I got a really good run or two, a really good bike, a couple of swims. But again, you're out with friends and you're just kind of enjoying yourself. And yeah, I probably ate a little bit north of what I normally would. And again, came back probably weight neutral. So July was a plateau month for me. And I kind of really, it gave me a little anxiety, but overall I knew that I just, it was just sort of a lost opportunity, an opportunity to drop a few pounds over the month. Like I said, I kind of target 5 to 10 pounds for a month while I'm in this weight loss mode. And I know that will probably decrease over time, but for now, I kind of wanted to lose those 5 to 10 pounds, and I didn't lose any. So a little nerve-wracking, but overall, I was, given all the stuff that had gone on that month, I was okay with it. Just start again. Draw the line, start again. And I did. I had a couple of good days, and COVID, right? COVID. And look, COVID, I know some people, they report either they lose their sense of taste or they lose their appetite. I don't think I didn't lose my sense of taste, but I did lose a little bit of appetite. I wasn't starving myself. I was eating my 3 meals a day. I didn't have any kind of nausea or anything like that. I know a lot of people. I know my mother-in-law certainly did. My daughter certainly did. I ate. I kept everything down. I felt pretty good. And I kind of attribute that a little bit, too, to drinking just a lot of water, a lot of electrolytes, and just being on top of my hydration situation the whole time through COVID. But I lost weight. The weight just started melting off. A friend of mine, we just did, I'll talk about this at the end, but we just did a conference call for our marathon training plan. And a friend of mine called me and said, or she texted me and said, wow, COVID really did a number on your face. She said I looked ashen and gaunt, a little bit thinner, that I had thinned out. And she had seen me like 3 weeks ago. So, it's not like just over these 2 weeks, COVID did a number on my face. Apparently, I don't know if you're watching the video today, if you can see any difference between now and the last video podcast we did, but I do feel, I lost right now. As of this morning, I think I was 214.3. So I'm down close to 10 pounds, about 8 pounds since the beginning of COVID in 2 weeks. And, I don't know how I feel about that, because on the one hand, yeah, you do like losing weight. You do like seeing the number go down, but I don't like that I lost it in that way. And it's almost like that cheap, oh yeah, hey, the benefits of COVID, you lose weight. But I don't like losing it that way. I am absolutely sure that some of that weight loss is muscle mass, lean muscle, and you don't want to lose that stuff, right? I recently did an FTP test. It worked out to 235 watts. I felt really good about that. Felt really strong. I don't want to lose that. And I'm scared that now that I'm 2 weeks without really exercising hard, and I'll talk about that in a sec, that I'm going to start losing that lean muscle. If not, I've already started losing that lean muscle. I'm pretty sure I probably have. Now, I remember Allison, not having her on the podcast, and her telling me 2 pounds a week. You don't want to lose much more than that. Otherwise, it will come from muscle. Just on average 2 pounds a week. So I'm now down about 8 pounds in 2 weeks. That's an average of, let's do the math, 4 pounds. So not optimal. But I do feel good. I don't feel, I'm over the major symptoms of COVID. And look, it's one of those things where, I'm going to continue to try to eat healthy and be healthy. And we'll see where the weight goes from there. But obviously we don't want to be losing a lot of muscle mass as we train for an Ironman. So keeping that in mind, it is what it is. I'm here where I am. And now let's talk about the actual training, because that's been another problem, right? Now, over the course of the last 2.5 years of COVID, as a coach, I have watched people train through it. I have watched people approach it in different ways. Some people, it seems like they get a few symptoms. It can be minor, and then they just have a couple of days, and then boom, they're back at it. They feel good. They're breathing right. Everything is good, and they're back to normal. Some people I've seen, and I've had probably a couple athletes that I coach who they have about a week of symptoms, and then they're like, all right, let's bring it back. And they struggle through the next couple of weeks. We try to keep the intensity very low. We don't want to push through and challenge yourself and overexert yourself through sickness. Because I think the fear is that it becomes sort of that long COVID, that thing that we all hear about. That's, we talked to Carla McCollum and Connie McCollum about that. That one of them struggled mightily trying to get back from COVID and recover from COVID, and never quite got it back after a year. It was a long time. You don't want to push yourself into that. And I remember hearing them talk about trying to train through COVID, and that's, I don't know if that's the cause, but it's not something you want to necessarily do, is overexert yourself through COVID. I have another friend locally who dealt with the same thing, and I think she's still dealing with it. She's a marathoner who got COVID and just had struggled mightily in training when doing distance runs, and it's hard to get it back. So it's kind of one of those things. You want to wait. You want to make sure your body is healthy enough to sort of approach training again. But man, I was on a good path, and man, I was doing really well, and I was hitting the marks that I wanted to hit, and it is mentally taxing to not be able to work out. It is, I feel like I'm destroying myself. Excuse me, here's my cough. I feel like I was on such a good path. I was on such a good, training in such a good mode, and now it's kind of the rug's been swept out from underneath, and I want to get back to it, but I don't want to do it at the detriment or at the possibility of extending the point of time where I'm not going to be able to train at my maximum capability. So what have I been doing? I started walking, and we've gone out on a few walks, and I just try to kind of not overexert myself on these walks, not really try to press my heart rate level up to anything crazy, just to get out and get moving and try to stay within myself, and not overly exert myself. Those walks have been great. I've enjoyed them. But I'm starting to get itchy. I'm starting to really get itchy. I don't want to lose, especially with a marathon in December, and then followed by the Ironman, obviously next year. I don't want to lose. I'm sad. I'm drinking coffee. But I'm it's it's starting to really kind of wear me down, and I really want to get moving. Today, we have a Wednesday night challenge ride on at 8 o'clock tonight on Eastern Time, and I will be partaking. I do not feel 100%. I will not be overexerting myself. I'll be keeping an eye on that heart rate, trying to keep it at a manageable level. It is set up as a race, so you guys can race it if you like. I will not be racing it. There's a couple of hills on the route, so yeah, I'll probably give a little chance to exert myself on those hills. But I'm not going to overdo it. I'm going to try to watch myself and make sure that I'm mindful of the effort that I'm putting forth. This is going to be the first major effort, not even major, but the first sort of effort above and beyond a walk that I'll be doing as we try to get out of this. You can tell I'm still, I have a little chest congestion from time to time, and my cough happens, and I do have sinus condition coming on still, and I need a little taste. So we'll see how it goes. Don't overexert myself. We will be live streaming. Just take it easy and be mindful. And that's sort of my approach to this. Was try to ease it back with walking. And now that I'm kind of 2 weeks through, I really need to get a little bit of a test. And we're going to test tonight, and we'll be on that. But like I said, if you are experiencing major symptoms, I definitely do not recommend going back out and training. And that's kind of the approach that we've taken with all my athletes as we've gone into this. And now, here we are, right? My weight is down. I'm feeling pretty, I'm going to try to take an optimistic point of view on that. I feel good that my weight is down. I am well on track. I still got another, 35 pounds to lose over the next 10 months, 11 months. Plenty of time to do that, especially if we kind of adhere to that 5 to 10 pounds per month goal. Plenty of time to adhere to that. We'll see it. We'll see what happens over the next few weeks. I feel, I tell you what. The positives, I went into my clothes drawer the other day. I took out a pair of, I have a bunch of pair of shorts from the last era, probably 4 years ago when I weighed 210 pounds, and maybe 5 years ago. And they've just been sitting there in the drawer laughing at me as I gained weight and I couldn't fit in them. And now they all fit. And it's like my wardrobe has doubled. I'm almost to the point now where I kind of want to throw out some of the old stuff, As I got bigger, I had to buy, when I lost the weight, I threw out all my bigger clothes. I got rid of I gave them all away. And the mental sort of mark for me is that 40-inch waist. And I had to go back and buy more shorts with 40-inch waist and jeans with 40-inch waist that I never wanted to do again, and I did it. And now those are sort of rendered useless, and I'm back into like my 36-inch jeans, and I'm loving it. And my 36-inch waist shorts, and I'm good. And, some of my large shirts, my extra large shirts are starting to be really baggy, and my large shirts are starting to fit again. And it's just feeling good, right? It's just feeling good that the weight loss is going in that right direction. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll be able to get rid of the large shirts and be in medium. Yeah, baby. We'll see how that works, but I don't know, man. My face. Anyway. That's where we've been. That's what's kind of again, when it comes to having COVID, I mean, look, I don't really, I hope that if you do get it, that you kind of work your way through those symptoms and make sure that you're clear and feeling good before you start to really exert yourself. That's sort of been my approach. Obviously get cleared by a doctor if you can. I never got any kind of prescription medication. I took care of it myself. As far as I know, like the statistics won't even have me in there because I tested at home. I tested positive. I didn't call my doctor. I took care of it myself. Everything was good. I feel good. I have this little lingering stuff going on with congestion and breathing, but we'll work through that for sure. And that being said, when it comes to what we're up to, what we're doing, I mean, I'm going to start exercising again today. So Wednesday night challenge ride, I'll be on there, but again, not overexerting. Tomorrow will be trivia ride. I might try a very light run tomorrow, at least a run-walk combination. Try to kind of just inch into the running, see how it feels, not overexert, do a combination with run and walk. All of this now is within the structure of our Team Ordinary marathon and half marathon training plan for Memphis. Now, I mentioned this the last couple times. We are a bunch of us are going to Memphis to do either the full marathon. Some of us are going to be doing the half marathon, and we set up a training plan. We set up I put a 16-week training plan. It started this past Monday. I did not start it. I'm a little bit behind because of the COVID, but hopefully I'll be able to catch up. And one thing we also did was a Zoom call. We had a Zoom call on Monday night, one of many that we'll be doing, introducing sort of the first couple of weeks of the program and what you're expected to do, and talking about it, answering questions. If you guys had questions, we had a really great, probably about a 45-minute Zoom call, talking about the program and getting people started. And I thought it was really cool. We talked to everyone. We had about 8 people show up to the call. People contributed. They asked questions. They told their stories. I thought it was great. It was great. We will be doing multiple more Zoom calls, including Zoom calls with Allison Knott, our team dietitian, our sports dietitian, she's amazing. She's going to be doing a lot of the next call. The next call will be August 29th. I am going to leave the program open. You can find the program if you go onto teamordinary.com and look at the store. You can find the program there. You can get registered. It's $50 to join the program. I know you missed the first one, but we can do sort of an email back and forth. I can send you the plan if you're interested. And then, we're going to be doing multiple Zoom calls. The next one will be August 29th, Monday, August 29th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully all you guys, and I know a couple more have shown some interest in potentially joining that group. But go out there and join the group. Join us. Train with us, whether or not you're doing the St. Jude Memphis Marathon or not. If you don't have a marathon on your schedule, or if you have a similar race that's somewhere around that December 3rd date, that's the date that we are going to be doing the marathon. Come and join us. Join the fun. Train with us and get involved. I think it's going to be really cool. The first meeting was great, and we're just going to build on that going forward. So, on that note, that's all I got for you today. I want to thank you guys for listening. Hopefully, I come out of this COVID a little bit quicker. I'm kind of had enough of it. To be honest, I've had enough of it, and I know it's still going to be challenging coming out of it, but I'm ready for that challenge. Do it smart and attack it the right way. And hopefully, in a couple of weeks, it'll all be gone and I'll be back on track for Marathon Day in December. And that's all I got for you today. And remember, every day is an ordinary day unless you make it extraordinary. So get after it, guys.